All right, what's going on,
All right.
everybody?
What's going on, everybody?
All right, what's going
All
on,
right.
everybody?
What's going
We
on,
are not
everybody?
late. We were actually here and just having a fun
Yeah.
conversation, not having to do with the Celtics, and we left you guys waiting. We're sorry.
Yeah, that was your fault. I didn't want to stop you because you were going on, and I was like, okay, we'll
I
just wait
find
and
I
make
find
everybody
what we
wait.
were talking about more interesting than what we're about to
Yeah.
talk about.
Me too. Me too. Maybe we'll get to it. Maybe we'll get to it towards the end, but maybe not.
Yeah,
Just found this harmonica next to my
very good. Take that,
computer.
take that with you to
Every time
prison.
I make a good point, I'm gonna go bring out the harmonica.
Yep.
What's up?
Amazingly, no hard hats for you.
I got the hard hat right here, baby.
Yeah.
Just waiting to use it. A couple more weeks now.
Judah has to make it known that they're not really here for us; they're here for one another. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad Judah got that in.
Yeah,
He's
we're
got
good.
Hater of the Year award. He gets my Red Auerbach Hater of the Year award.
Here's the traitor stuff, Jimmy.
John, oh yeah. I warned John that traitor comments might be coming in.
The pie
Hey,
management.
shout out to whoever wrote that. That means he listened to the whole. He stayed on the whole
So,
show.
did you say you got to get him? You got get after that. Get after
I
that
said
jerk.
flood him with traitor comments when we first come onto the show.
I would agree. Manila, 100% best play of the night.
And you know what? John actually texted us specifically about that play, which he doesn't typically do. So he was pretty impressed with that trade, with that play, as was I. I mean, Hauser just didn't give up on it. He dove about 20 feet, rolled around like he was in the mud, and somehow came up with the ball, and then made the nice pass, and that was a great play.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt.
Shout out
Um,
Hauser.
so we will talk about a few things. Among them, Celtics locking in the two seed, potential first round opponents. Bobby Manning's going to eventually come on here and tell you how terrified he is of Toronto
Yeah,
should they ever
it doesn't matter how many
um,
times the Celtics beat them.
face them again. Apparently, Bobby got angry yesterday, huh?
Bobby was angry with the performance last night. Yeah, and he was angry with the commenters because they were saying like it didn't mean anything. It's not a big deal. Who cares?
Don't tell Bobby it doesn't mean anything,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You don't
Don't
tell
tell him.
Bobby that.
You don't talk to Bobby that way.
You don't talk to
He
Bobby
was
that.
fired up. He was fired up last night a little bit.
Well,
I couldn't even
I'm
get
gonna
through
give.
my ad read. He was huffing and puffing reading the comments while I was doing my ad read.
That's weird when somebody steps all over your ad read.
I don't know anything about that.
That is frustrating.
It
I
is.
would imagine. Anyway, we're gonna tell you real quick before we get started.
Never
This was your
happens.
chance. You should have stomped
Never
on it.
happens.
For those of you out there who are like getting in on some action, FanDuel, as you know by now, America's #1 sportsbook, and I do have to say, um, uh, thank you for those of you who've supported it because quite a few of you have, and if that's like I said, is if you do go there and you do like to, you know, place some bets, and we
Went
do
the
urge you to
beak.
do it. Yeah, we do urge you to do it responsibly. But if you do it and you like to dabble and it's fun for you, check it out. And if you can go through fanduel.com/Boston, that would be great. Because then they know that we sent you and they're happy with us and
Baseball's here. You can
we
just
can
toss
keep
some
delivering
baseball bets in.
content that Judah and all you guys can just crap all over. But
Yeah,
that's
you
cool.
guys hate
Yeah,
watch.
that's fine that you guys hate watch. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
You can
Celtics
just
win.
keep betting against the Red Sox because they obviously suck.
Yeah. What does tonight mean? The two seed is locked in.
Ah, there it is. Congratulations to your Boston Celtics, the two seed.
Two seed. So fine, great, you did it. This was, kind of a bummer that the one was seemingly in reach, and I think things had broken a little bit differently. They could have been in contention, but I think it's been a foregone conclusion since that Washington game, which is again kind of a shame
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they need it. Who knows? But again, it's neither here nor there. I don't think it changes much. You definitely didn't want to fall to three, and obviously good that they got that out of the way. I'm sure you guys talked a lot about like Celtics Sixers round two yesterday.
We did.
My question to you, just because I missed it,
Probably should
if
even watch
you're
it back, but that's okay.
if you're the Sixers, did you feel good about last night?
That's a good question. I think no. because you got nothing from anybody else on your team except Embiid. I mean, Doc Rivers basically said that after the game. Um, so are you happy that you won the game? Sure, but you did win the game without the other team's, one of their best players in Jaylen Brown, and without Rob Williams as well. So you didn't play a stacked lineup, and you needed a borderline all-time performance from one of your guys to do it, which he's not going to be able to do over a 7-game series. I don't care who you are. I mean, Embiid is the MVP this year, but he can't put 4 performances like that. I don't think he can against a fully loaded Celtics team.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned how the rest of that roster just looks washed. Talking about Harden,
Washed.
PJ Tucker hits 3 threes out of his where late in that fourth quarter. Yeah, they were open, but how often is that going to happen? I mean, you got Maxey who can score. I don't know. I mean, they just didn't really look. I mean, I give them credit. They won the game. They were at home. They fought back, but it was all Embiid. So
Yeah.
that's if you're the
Yeah.
Sixers, that's been I guess, the story of your season.
Totally. Totally. It's,
Totally.
like I said, I just wanted your take on it because I didn't get
What's
it.
your take since you weren't here?
I
You were playing
think
hooky.
that if I were the what's up,
What's up,
Sherrod?
Sherrod?
If I were
What's up,
the
gents?
Sixers, I would have been pissed about last night. Let's talk about tonight a little bit. Let's welcome in Sherrod. What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? What's going on?
What's Gucci,
Boomer
homie?
free, Boomer free zone last night. So the
Oh
kids,
boy,
the kids got to run everything.
Got it out
that's
of our system.
unfortunate. You guys feel better, Jimmy?
We do. We felt great. We were up late. We were just swearing, eating candy, drinking soda, bunch of
Jumping
good
on the
stuff.
bed.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was a good time. Now we're gonna be on our best behavior.
Now the adults are back in the room, and now you're gonna fake like you were. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
What a game! Not.
Holy crap! I can't believe you. I assumed you were asleep, and that's why you didn't jump on the stream.
Yeah.
This was a real crap game.
John, your assessment is not that far off.
Yeah, he
on
was
this one.
asleep. But
Man, listen. If I'm Toronto, I'm pissed right now. They were down not 1, not 2, but 3 starters, including top 5, top 10 player. You had your full crew
this is
ready to
bullshit.
roll, and you catch a fat L. And
Yeah.
the sad part about it was the Celtics with Jaylen Brown and the B crew.
Get shit out of here.
They didn't even play a great game. They were meh.
They couldn't care less about it. Tonight was like exhibition game
This
number
was-
2.
Yes,
Mhm.
That's the
glorified
vibe.
practice exhibition.
It
Absolutely,
felt like a
absolutely.
preseason game.
Yeah, it was a total preseason game. Let's just jack some threes. Nobody get hurt. Let's just get in, get out, and call it a day.
And when they realized that, you know what, we can probably win this game. Malcolm, take over.
Yeah.
Take us home. This was. If I'm Toronto, I'm just sick to my stomach up with this one.
But that's Toronto. Like we're.
But if you're
like,
Bobby Manning, this game made you worry about facing Toronto in the first round of the playoffs. I kid you not. I want the rage to build inside you for when he comes to bring that take, and I want you like Rob Williams,
just shoot him
foot and a
down.
half over the rim, waiting.
Listen,
Swat that.
there's something off center about Toronto. I don't know what it is because they're better than what we saw out there today. But for some reason, things are not quite working the way they should. I think they're going to take a long, hard look about breaking up the band this summer because there's no excuse for them to go out there and get their ass whipped like this. Jaylen didn't even have a great game. Jaylen didn't even go into takeover mode. Jaylen was like, getting back to where he was earlier this year, but he wasn't great tonight. He was okay. He wasn't great. They had one guy that played well, and that was Malcolm Brogdon. And basically, Malcolm did most of his work in basically a quarter and a half a play.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I want to spin the wheel. Of the things I think that are interesting coming off of tonight, Muscala over Grant, and what Grant's role is going to be in the playoffs. And now whether Blake Griffin is legitimately cutting into Grant Williams' minutes in the
It
playoffs.
feels that way,
And
doesn't
it's
it?
starting to feel like Blake's going to get 6 and 8 minutes.
Give
you
me
know,
my Blake
Just-
minutes.
Jimmy,
Team Blake.
Jimmy's that guy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hate to say I told you so,
No, you
boomers.
don't. No, you don't. Your ass loves to say "I told you so."
You're right.
Hate
I don't get to
to
You
say
got a
that
tattoo
often.
on your arm that says "I told," other side says "You so."
So
Come
that's
on.
one thing. The other, I don't know how much more we're gonna watch of Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon clearly being better than Marcus, or being not. And again, it's not. They're playing so well that, like, again, it's hard to keep them off the court. It's hard to justify not having them on the court. You saw Brogdon sitting in crunch time last game,
Yeah.
and it's just the first thing everyone's like, "What's going on, guys?" So again, I'm not saying it's a good. You need all of them, because right now that depth you and I talked about, Sherrod, looks a little less when Grant Williams is playing so inconsistently. Because if you're going to go 8 deep, you wonder whether Joe's going to break glass and go into the Muscala or into the Blake mix a little bit here. And Grant's minutes are not necessarily assured. Feels like he tried to sneak him in the last, after he put him in timeout, had those DNP-CDs, the 6-minute game, all of that stuff, the mixed free throws, all of that crap. I don't know. Was he in timeout again tonight because of the tech? I don't know what it is, but I think he tried to get him back in and be like, "All right, go do what you do," and it hasn't been good enough. Not by a long shot.
And it's we're at a point now
And
where
we're going to talk about the Jaylen Brown Red Auerbach Award, which is shameful.
Spin that wheel.
Just
Spin
continue
that
spinning that wheel. All NBA. We
Don't
love
say
you. We
no
love you.
more.
We love you.
Don't
We
say
love you.
any
We
more
love you.
about
I loved it. I freaking loved it.
I
And
heard not too long ago on verified sources, they are retiring his number on Friday, Jaylen Brown. They're actually going to raise it. They're
I
raise it to
believe
the
it.
Raptors,
I
and that's it.
believe
He's going to
it.
have to wear a different number because they're going to retire 7,
I love
and he's going to
that.
have to
I
pick
love
a
that
different
move,
number,
yeah.
and they're going to retire that one too when he's done. So they're doing all of these things for Jaylen, which is
I
great.
love it. The love that they're showing him it just makes my heart flutter. Oh my
But
good.
let's start with the rotation stuff here.
Okay. Grant's in trouble. Grant's in. I mean,
Grant's in a bit of trouble.
it's like legitimately concerning if you're Grant Williams, what your role is going to be. Because here's the issue
And
that Grant's
Hauser
running
might be
into.
ahead of him again too.
Hauser stunk up the place tonight.
He did, but Tommy points. And again, if you look at his, he's again
One Tommy
remaining
point.
competitive defensively. He's getting that shot off quickly, which is something Grant can't do. And he was a plus on the night, even though he couldn't shoot it all.
Yeah. I mean,
But anyway, yeah.
Grant is concerning with Grant. It really is, because what's happening with Grant is the other guys aren't necessarily playing great, but they're doing something that contributes significantly and notably to winning. And Grant's not really doing that. His defense has been pretty good, not great, but pretty good.
Yeah,
but he's
absolutely.
not shooting the ball. But he's not shooting the ball well. He's not making the hustle Tommy point type plays. And when you're void of those two things, and there are other guys who are filling that void. I mean, like right now, Blake for 8 as Jimmy. What you want 7-8 minutes of Blake, right? That's what you're looking for, Jimmy.
Are
you cool with
10.
that?
I'm cool with 10.
Okay, let's go 7. Let's go 7.
5 each half.
7 minutes. Let's go 7. 7 minutes of
Okay,
Blake
fine.
is awesome. I love 7 minutes of Blake. The minute the meter hits double digits, that's when diminishing returns are about to set in. He did a lot of good things in this game. He's done a lot of good things of late. And Muscala, I'm still feeling more Grant than Muscala right now. I think you want to see what Muscala can do, but I'm not feeling him stepping ahead of Grant once we get to the playoffs. I still think that Grant is basically that 8th guy in their 8-man rotation.
I think this.
But he's slipping. He's definitely slipping.
We talked about this last night about Muscala because we didn't think he had a great game, and we just kind of said, well, like, they traded for the guy. They probably didn't use him a lot, as much as they could have or should have, to really know if he could even be a part of their playoff rotation. So I think this might be sort of a last ditch effort to see how he plays out there with some of these guys. That, if there is going to be a situation, Sherrod, where they need to go to Muscala, do they have any sort of faith that he can sort of keep him above water there? So I think that's more of what this was tonight. But I mean, I also think he played well tonight overall. I don't think that he was a liability by any stretch out there. 31 minutes. And yeah, obviously it's cut significantly into Grant Williams' minutes right there. And so did Blake, of course. But Grant has not played
this
well
is a better
enough.
matchup.
Grant has not played well enough to earn any sort of like guaranteed minutes in the playoffs. As far
It's
as
it's gonna be situational with him at this. I think it's pretty clear. And this was a matchup where if you look at just Mike Muscala's build and what he does on the floor, he's a better matchup in this type of game.
Longer,
than Grant.
taller.
Yeah.
and you're going to be playing longer.
It's a long team.
Right.
It's a tall team.
Right. But if
But
let's say, but if
so are
let's
the
say,
Bucks,
but if
so
but
are
if
the
they're playing,
Sixers.
but if they're playing, let's say the Miami Heat, for example, I'm
And he's
probably
not
gonna go
terrible defensively, honestly.
right. I'm probably going to go with Grant over Muscala if they're playing a team like the Miami Heat or a team that's constructed a little bit different. But Muscala, he had a good game because this is a good matchup for him.
Sure, but you. So good on him for stepping up in a situation where he was called upon, got the 31 minutes. He started, and I thought he earned those minutes tonight. And again, it gives you a little bit more confidence in their ability to go with him because you know who I think he has passed Sherrod is Bobby's buddy Luke. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to see much of Luke in the playoffs at this rate. But getting back to Grant for a minute, I think the difference right now between Blake and Grant is that Blake kind of, I think, hurts you less when he's out there because he's not really going to try to do too much. Where I feel like Grant took a couple of like tough shot, like couple really off 3-pointers tonight. Mm-hmm. There was one specifically where he had Rob Williams cut into the basket and he took the shot, missed badly. It's like you got to make that. You got to know to make the right play. And I think Blake makes that pass because Blake's not trying to look for his. Blake's not trying to cash in on a $15 million a year deal next year. That isn't coming. Blake knows where he's at with that. So when Blake's out there, his mindset the whole time is, what can I do to help these guys on this possession? What can I do defensively to, get the stop? And I think Grant's head right now is just a little bit more all over the place, and it shows.
Well, you know what the thing is, Jimmy? Blake is a freaking future Hall of Famer. I mean, there's nothing that he's going to see at this point in the season that he hasn't seen, dozens of times before. And so because of that, he has just the experience and wherewithal to know what he can do and how he can impact winning. Blake knows that he draws charges. He's able to rebound the ball. He's able to pass. He does a lot of the things that when you are at this point in your career, so many people tell you you've got to change your game around, otherwise you're going to be out of the league. And Blake just said, I'm just going to change my game around, and I'm not even worried about anything or anyone else is saying. And he's been, low key, Blake has been kind of like slow dripping his way into this damn playoff rotation all season long. He gets 2 or 3 minutes here.
They've been slow playing. They've been slow playing Blake. They're just ramping him up for the playoffs this whole time, Sherrod.
It feels like that a little bit because when you look at the things that he does in that limited window that he gets to play, it's mostly positive. It's been that way most of the season. And at first, you're wondering maybe the issue is just conditioning isn't quite where it needs to be. But like I said, Jimmy, if I could 10 and under is what I'm feeling for Blake. Once I get past 10. I'm just not going to get my money's worth with him. And he's great in like 7-8 minute stretches. He's really good for this team. And often in the playoffs, Jimmy, and you know this, that might be the difference between you winning a game by 4 as opposed to losing it by 2.
Yeah.
Also, everyone just likes him more.
Facts. That is also true.
He most likely to succeed. He gets a popularity vote.
I don't know who out there is a Mad Men fan. Any of you guys ever watch the show?
No.
I've seen it a few
Great
times.
line from Roger Sterling, the sales guy, John Slattery, local guy actually, Massachusetts guy, Boston born. When he's talking to one of the account guys, Pete Campbell, who messed something up, and he's like, I don't know if anyone's ever told you how many times in this business it just comes down to I don't like that guy. And like it's always think about it. It's like Grant's just like hard to like hard to love.
We know the refs
I
don't
still love Grant.
know?
Grant's still my guy. It's just that he's just not playing well, and there's no reason to really love him that much now if you didn't already love him before.
Yeah.
He's just.
I think
not playing well.
It's nothing personal. He's
right.
It's just like what can you do for the team right now on the court? And if your head's not in the right
it
place,
might be personal.
If you're
like
thinking
he grates
too much
on you, you think Joe's not like God, Jesus, Grant.
I mean, for us, for Sherrod, like we're not attacking his character, like not like literally don't not like him, but it's just like
no, I think everyone likes him like in that little brother sort of way.
Yeah, it's just the vibe. Yeah, like this guy's
like,
annoying
can you
right
not
now. Like,
do that annoying thing?
Like, yeah, right.
Like I love my kids too, but at the end of the night, I want to friggin' murder them. Like it's just like just.
But they're your kids,
but that's
we'll bleep that out.
Shut up, like stop.
Yeah, I'm
Come
sure
on,
Joe.
Grant.
Yeah, I'm sure
Stop with
Joe's
the
like,
text,
damn it,
dude. You know,
Grant.
like,
Well, I
oh
was
my
gonna
He's
say,
one of
god.
my players.
we
Damn
know
it,
how the
okay.
referees feel about him for sure. They
Yeah.
definitely are not fans of his. And last
Yeah.
night, we mentioned it last night again. Another situation where if you're Grant, like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Don't be barking up and down the court after you didn't get the call you wanted. And like, it's just stupid. And whether or
Well,
not you
here's
agree with the tech or not, you shouldn't be barking at the official while the game is being played.
Yeah.
I would be upset if I were Grant if that were like Precious Achua that was smacking me in the face and they weren't
True.
calling that. But this was,
Yeah,
Joel Embiid,
Embiid. And there's
like the
always
front
been,
runner for league
yeah.
MVP. I mean, it's like getting mad if LeBron James bodies you off the block. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's LeBron freaking James.
But that's
He's
what
going to he's
Grant
going to
thinks that he
get
should
those
be getting
non-calls.
Yeah,
He's
Grant
going
thinks
to
that
get
he's
those
those guys.
non-calls. Right, but yeah, that was just an absolute brain fart and then some. With
But it's
Grant.
happened a few times.
It does. It does. And he, to me, everyone comes back from it. Well, most people come back from the offseason with something about their game that they're better at. And that needs to be Grant's improvement, booklet this year that he needs to work on. Jimmy, what the hell are you doing, Jimmy?
Trying to get my focus back. I'm all blurry here, man. You didn't see that?
What, so what, me talking about Grant just threw your focus off?
I guess so.
Is there a correlation between
If
the
you
two?
just wipe
This is
your
what my
finger
brain
on-
looks like. This is what my brain
just-
feels like. It's a brain fog.
I say the word brain fart, and Jimmy immediately commits a brain fart. Are you
Okay.
better, Jimmy? Okay.
I don't
here we
think
go.
so. We'll just go on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I'll
Okay.
just be over here trying to refocus.
Did John freeze?
Did we lose John?
Jimmy, damn it.
See what's going
It's
on
your
right now?
fault.
There's a bunch of stuff going on. All
Okay.
right.
Well, anyway, I'm going to keep
Minimize
talking about
John.
Grant because here's the thing about Grant. He does grate people's nerves. There's no doubt about that. But I still think that, and then I'm going to stick to this. Grant is going to win you a playoff game. I'm just going to say it
here
right
we
now.
go.
Grant is going to have a game where he is going to be the difference between you winning and losing. That doesn't mean he's going to go out for 30, but he's going to have like a 90-second stretch or a 2-minute stretch where he's going to play at a level that's going to get you over the hump on a night when you need someone to step up. I'm absolutely 100% convinced that he's going to do that.
We can't hear you, John. John's connection is weak and we can't hear him, but we can see him.
And Jimmy, your boy
We still can't hear
Blake,
you.
Blake's going to have a game like that too. He's
Yeah.
going to have a 12-minute game where he's going to just will you to win. And that's what you need. If you're going to win a championship, you're going to have multiple guys on your second unit to step up. You know what you're getting out of Malcolm. You know what you're going to get out of Rob Williams. But Blake, Grant, they are major X factors who on any given night can be the difference between you winning and losing a game. And again, those two guys on different nights are going to find a way to win you a game if you're the Celtics. You're going to win a playoff game with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's I guess the mark of a championship team is guys kind of coming in, role players who have accepted their role throughout the year and they just wait for their moment, right? I mean, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Now, we talked, I think last week, and this came up earlier this week, I think on national TV, but the deeper team. I think you guys both said the Celtics are deeper than the Bucks. With a Grant Williams playing the way he is, do you guys still feel that way? I mean, Rob looks pretty good tonight. I think that he is kind of rounding into form, and that's huge for them more so than Grant would be. So I guess if you have Rob playing close to his what we can expect from Rob, and Brogdon playing just awesome basketball, you're definitely 7 very, very strong players deep. And then that 8th might be a rotation, whether it's Grant, Blake, Muscala. That could be sort of a committee eighth guy, depending on matchup-wise. I mean, is that enough?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is enough. But again, Jimmy, and once you get into the playoffs, it really does become a matter of matchups.
Yeah.
And there's going to be factors that are coming into play that you have no control over. I mean, people forget that Golden State, when they won their first championship, every team they played during that run was missing a key starter, and I think it was a point guard for almost every team. Either didn't play or missed some games in that particular series. And so sometimes you got to catch some breaks that you have absolutely no control over. But what you can control is how you play. What you can control is having nights or having your best players do what they do, but also understanding they're not going to be great every night. So you need someone to augment that void. And I think the Celtics, they're going to have 3 guys coming off that bench that I think any one of those 3 can be that difference maker. So, and we touched on Rob a minute ago. Rob, I thought was really good tonight. I thought he was really good tonight. Like he made some plays that we haven't seen him make in like weeks.
Am I here?
Yes.
Yeah, you're here.
He did. He looked pretty good.
I figured you'd be back when we talked about Rob. That's why I
Yeah.
brought him up, John.
I just didn't want to speak in case you couldn't hear me, but yeah, I thought
31 minutes.
Rob was solid. Rob did not look worn down by the amount of minutes he played. Actually,
Right.
that looked pretty good.
And he made some plays in the fourth. I mean, that block shot. I mean,
That was nice.
we haven't seen that.
I'd still like to see them go to him as a vertical threat on offense a little bit more than they have been. He had one lob, but they're really relying on him just to be active on the glass, and that's his main role on offense right now.
And a ball mover.
He's a good ball mover. Ball gets out of his hands quick. He's very fast. He can skip it to the other side, find open shooters. His passes are very quick and very accurate. They hit shooters right in the hands. So I mean, he moves that ball, and then just the effect that he has with just how long he is. The rebounding difference when he's in the game is just insane.
Yeah.
So that stuff, it's not only good to have it, no one else does it.
Right.
So it's a thing that it completely goes away when he's not there. Mm-hmm. You lose a ton, There's other players you could lose in the lineup and you're like, okay, I can supplement this with that. Rob, you're cooked. There's no one who does what he does out there for them. And you see the big drop off when he's gone. All the things he does well, the team stops doing well.
Yeah.
The rebounding, all of that stuff, the defense slips. And as soon as he comes back, it all goes back up to that level. So that's the whole difference with him is like it is a real other level for them when he's out there because their other bigs just aren't like him.
Right.
Horford's closer to like a 3-and-D guy than a true big. Obviously, he'll bang some, and there's no one else out there who's even coming close to what he's able to do.
I just wish that when he has certain mismatches, he tries to exploit them. Because there were a few times where he has the ball on the elbow. You've got a guy that's 6'5". You've got Scotty Barnes on you, or you've got Van Vliet on you, and you're swinging the ball out to Derek White. No disrespect to Derek White, who's had a great year, but I feel more confident that you can take this guard and beast his ass on the block, get a layup, than swinging the ball out.
That's kind of where I'm at with him too, Sherrod, and I've been saying this all year. It almost feels like he just doesn't think about like offense.
He doesn't think about scoring,
right?
Unless it's a lob. Yeah.
Right. But even tonight, like I thought White looked for him a couple times in transition, which was nice. But he needs to demand the ball. I mean, this is a game where Tatum's not there.
Wait till next year.
When Brown's not in the game or whatever. Like, dude, you have that skill. You have that capability. You have that physicality or that whatever you want to call it. He's athleticism. Just call for the ball. They'll give it to you. I guarantee you, though, if you call for the ball, your guards will give it to you in the block or wherever it is. But he just never does. 4 field goal attempts tonight. Like, again, that's not enough for me, but I was happy that, like John said earlier, he didn't look winded out there. 31 minutes. I mean, if they can get even close to 31 minutes every game from him, then that's awesome. So you'll take it. But I want to see more in the long run.
He's the one that's deciding on not looking to score because they're getting him the ball at times in positions where all he needs to really do is make a dribble or two, and he's on the block with a smaller defender or whoever is defending him. I wish next season we see Rob's post game evolve because he's got. I mean, could you imagine if Rob actually went to the block and tried to shoot 3-4 times a game in addition to the lobs? That opens things up for everyone.
Have you ever seen this is just a minor thing. You ever see Rob's like workout videos for the draft? I know. Wait,
I haven't looked at him in a long time.
All I'm saying is, if you go Google it, go YouTube and check it out. Jimmy loves his YouTube clips. You just watch him, and again, some of this stuff is against a coach or a chair. You know what? All I'm saying is, you see him catch, square, dribble, move, score, dunk, yada yada. It's stuff that he did, and somehow he's just determined this isn't what I'm supposed to do at the NBA. It's stuff that like looked fluid when he was doing it. Granted, against no competition. I think he forgets that, like, 1, I'm allowed to, 2, I'm athletic as F, and I absolutely should be able to do it. And you're not going to see him whip out any new stuff this year. It's just not going to happen. So real quick, before we get moving, I want to tell, while Jimmy's getting his Wi-Fi together, you guys like basketball? We're going to talk a little bit about baseball as well. because baseball season has started. Grand slams, no hitters.
Have you seen my
What
baseball?
else do they do in baseball? Double plays. They're back, Jimmy. You know what
They
else
are
they do in
back.
baseball?
If you're the Red Sox, lose.
If you're the Red Sox, I'll tell you this. If you're the Red Sox, you have an attendance of, according to Pete Abraham of the Globe, announced attendance today of 24,477 at Fenway. Smallest non-COVID crowd, non-20 or 21 crowd since May 2nd, 2000.
Wow.
Damn.
That's a stat and a half.
Damn.
That's my
Congrats,
favorite
guys.
stat I've heard in a while.
Congrats, John Henry. You did it. You literally broke the Red Sox.
Does that mean he lost money today? I hope so.
25, a quarter century. Congratulations.
That's
Very
pathetic.
impressive. Anyway, that being said, we know there's some of you out
Pirates
there who love it.
don't travel well, I guess.
America's #1 sportsbook and official partner of Major League Baseball, of course, is FanDuel, exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. New customers en masse. Get in on the action. $200 bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Just sign up FanDuel.com/Boston. Finally, you get all your favorite sports, money line, point spreads, all that jazz. Once again, FanDuel.com/Boston. Make every moment more. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. We do want to tell you, hold on, we got to tell you things.
Yeah. Do that.
We got to tell you things.
Do that. Yeah, don't.
Got to be 21 or older, President of Massachusetts. $10 initial deposit required. Your first online bet must be a real money wager. Bonuses are issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Hope is here. Go to gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start. Go to GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234.
Okay, let me just say something real quick. Imagine going to that Red Sox game today. It was like so freaking cold out. It was like 40 degrees. It was just like bitter outside. You're playing one of the worst teams, maybe the worst team in baseball in the freaking Pittsburgh Pirates. Probably nobody can probably name one player on that team. And then if you're the Red Sox fan, like you can probably only name a couple players on their team too. I would have rather gone to work today. If somebody said, "Hey, come to the Red Sox game with me," I wouldn't have gone. No way.
Yep.
I would rather just go to work. So
You could not pay me to go to a Red Sox game.
yeah,
It would have to be my job, and I feel bad for people whose job it is to go to the Red Sox right now.
I do too. The Red Sox is what put the fork in me, and that
Yeah.
they killed me as a reporter.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, that's it's a tough one. Tough things going on down there.
Anyways,
we talked about the Celtics clinching the 2 seed. We're going to hear from Malcolm Brogdon right here talking about what it means to him come to Boston and be, can you still hear me?
yeah, I was just reading a comment. Sorry.
No, something told me things were weird here. Here's Malcolm talking about the 2 seed.
What does that mean to you?
That's everything to me. This league.
What does that mean to you?
That's everything to me. I want to win. The last 2 seasons for me were rough, not being able to win. I'm a winner. I feel like I've been known as a winner. I want to be known as a winner when I'm done playing in this league, and I want to win at the highest level, and that's winning a championship. So, being in Boston, being a Celtic fits me perfectly.
Can we just vote him in to just run the world? Forget about like president. Fuck that. Just run the world, Malcolm. I'm a winner.
He's the new world leader.
I'm a winner. Word. I'm a winner.
That's
I love
it.
Malcolm.
I like
That's
Malcolm
it.
too.
That's it.
You know what?
It's hard to not like Malcolm.
It's a breath of fresh air to hear something like that too, because I think a lot of guys that some of these guys, I think they get a little bit too conditioned with us, winning, just winning for the sake of winning, and not really realizing that there's a lot of players in this league that don't have that opportunity, right? Or just it's not easy for them to come by, or they had it and then it got taken away, or they, one way or another they ended up on another team and they just kind of lost that. So to have it again, I think you appreciate it. You can see how much he appreciates being in a winning organization on a team that's winning. So kind of just
it's that 30-year-old perspective too. You're in the league, you come in, you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to make it. You recognize you're going to take some lumps along the way on a couple teams that are competitive, maybe not, and then you just don't think that it's just going to go dark on you. And all of a sudden, you're spending a few prime years in a crap situation, and you're like, uh-oh, clock is ticking on me being like a useful guy here, like, and I got to if I'm going to put my stamp on something, be part of something real, I got to make a move. And it's really around the time and around that age when people start to really think about it, 30, 31, 32. I got a few good, decent years left before I'm, Udonis Haslam. So like, I gotta,
Yeah. Literal dinosaur.
I may bounce from team to team, but I'm not doing anything anymore, So like, this is it. And, I mean, he's been phenomenal, in every way imaginable. And we are going to segue a little bit to the
He should be sixth man.
to the overall guard situation. But we are going to hear from here's Missoula. You mentioned that 6-man situation. Here he is talking about Brogdon and everything that he's been kind of doing here.
It meant a lot. The humility that he brings to our team. He takes really that pride in the second unit. And, in order to be a great team, you have to have people like that. And we have that from top to bottom, and different guys do different things. And, Malcolm has come in here with patience, humility, and understanding. And, credit to the locker room for, embracing and empowering him. And I hope he gets it. He deserves it. When he plays at a high level, we're really good. And, our depth is a huge strength of ours.
The big thing about Malcolm that I think kind of gets lost in the sauce is he plays with a sense of urgency. Like when he's out there, he legitimately looks like he's trying to do everything he can win to win that game. And we all know, there's some games where Tatum looks like he's coasting. There's some games where Marcus looks like we don't know where the hell he's at. JB, but Malcolm, he's been that steady, consistent. I'm trying to get this win, fellas. Come on, y'all with me? You gotta love Malcolm. You gotta love Malcolm. He's a hard dude not to like it.
And he's been like that even
professional.
Right. When he came into the league, he had that sort of professionalism too.
It's a job. I'm here to work every night, and I go to work every night. There is no you're going to have I guess when people get annoyed with some things with the Celtics, that's what it comes down to. No one expects perfection over 82 games. I don't think that's why people get down. No one expects you to sometimes we all wake up and it's just like, I got nothing today. And you just slog your way through a day. That's going to happen from time to time. But like the frequency with which you see kind of waning effort sometimes, passive defense, not taking things seriously, taking trips and turns down the floor, choosing in the moment to not try versus what would have taken a little bit effort, to close out or to box out or to, go for that loose ball. And watching that happen definitely drives you nuts, particularly for the young, spry players who are 24, 25, 26. Like, come on, you guys, that can't be you, doing that. And Brogdon, he's had bad games too, but he looks the same every single night. Right. I've said this a million times. He's had games where he shoots 2 out of 13, and it still felt like he played well because he had the same approach, the same process. I'm going to attack. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to play the game the way I play the game. He almost never deviates from that. You don't see him just kind of like, today I'm just going to stop trying to attack the paint and go into the basket. I'm just going to sit out here and just jack it because it's hard work going into the paint. He's always trying. He's always trying to do the things that make him Malcolm Brogdon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that help them win and that the team needs.
Yeah.
I think people appreciate that.
They do. And it's contagious when you see it happen, particularly when you have a guy like Malcolm who, when you look at his salary, he's making starting guard money. And yet not only has he embraced the fact that he's going to come off the bench, he has not once bitched or moaned about not playing more, even when we all know that the way he's been playing, he could easily go to Joe and say, you know what, Joe, this 27, 28 minutes a game, I could do more if you put me out there more. He's never done that. And again, he's just a perfect complement to a team that came so close to winning a championship to try to run it back. He's the perfect addition to what you need to get over that hump. Perfect.
And I want to say something else too. I know that we just saw a comment, Quickly's going to win 6th man of the year. My issue with that is that Quickly has started like 20 games this year. So I feel like a lot of his success and a lot of the hype that you're getting around Quickly has been in the games that he's been a starter. It's been a recently all the hype for Quickly has come about. Let's say I really think it really started against Boston, to be completely honest. The game where he just torched. I was I was actually at that game, and he was jumping around like dancing all over the place.
Right.
Um, but all the hype kind of started later on in the year when he was starting games. Brogdon's been a consistent sixth man from start to finish
Yeah.
in the true sense of the word. And that's why I think he's been the best sixth man this year. Not a spot start, not a guy who's
a good
starting a lot of times, and not a guy who's getting a ton of points when he is starting and a lot more bigger of a role. Because there's been situations this year we've all said, why wouldn't they just start Brogdon? Why are they starting Hauser, or why are they starting whoever? They just wanted to be consistent. Brogdon's the sixth man. Maybe that's what he wanted too. I have no idea. I'm sure he would have done anything. But point is, he's a true sixth man this year. And if it goes too quickly, I guess that's just what the voters are just going with, going with the hype train and going with stats. But when it comes down to it, Brogdon's a true sixth man, and that's why I think he should get the award.
I can't see them not giving it to Malcolm. I just don't
Really?
see
Because right now the betting favorite is Quigley.
I would put my money on Malcolm. I think the voters are going to typically look at where does that team finish, what's his impact on them finishing there, and what do his numbers look like. Malcolm's numbers are all coming off the bench, and the Celtics are going to have at worst, the second best record in the NBA, at worst, and so
Like,
he's your best. And Philly's going to be what fifth, sixth, or New York? I mean,
Right.
I can't see how you can compare the two and say that the guy whose numbers might be pretty good, but his team is like maybe fifth best in the East, fourth best in the East.
I mean, Quickly's nasty. I love Quickly. I love his game.
He's a good player.
I love the energy.
He's just
he
not
brings.
the best sixth man in the league this year.
He dropped 39 points tonight, but he started. So what? So what are we talking about here?
Right.
So it's almost like you're comparing two different categories of guys. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know this. I know the Celtics. They tend to kind of slow drip their their promotional stuff for guys, but they really need to be pushing Malcolm for sixth man of the year. They really need to do that because he deserves it. He has done everything they've asked him to do.
True sense of the word. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not sure why that hype train hasn't started yet because it should.
To be honest,
everyone's working on the Jalen campaign right now.
And speaking of that, speaking of the Jalen,
what else can we give Jalen? Look, I got some chapstick. I got a Snickers bar. What
Malcolm,
with my phone? You open the phone?
Yeah. Malcolm, do you need this locker? Because we were thinking of doubling up Jalen's space.
Hey, Malcolm, we were going to give you the Red Auerbach Award because honestly, you actually do deserve it because you kind of do epitomize what it means to be a Celtic. But we got to give it to Jalen Brown right now, man. If you mind, make sure go ahead, take it.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Word probably should have been his, to be honest. But
I thought he was going to get it. I thought it was going to be Malcolm, honestly. Like when they're just
year one though, you wonder if that chafes somebody, like someone like Marcus, who's
let's put it this way.
Marcus never got it.
Yeah, he got it 1 year.
He's got it.
He's already got it.
But so did Kyrie. So there you go.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes, 2018.
We have
Kyrie
to wipe,
got it.
we have to wipe that one off. We have to wipe that one off.
Yeah, when I forgot that he got it, but
That's sad.
Yeah, but real.
You know who won last year?
That would have been Marcus.
No,
Was it Al?
it's Rob.
Rob got it last year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. So they're just picking a name out of a hat.
And
Or what
you
are they
get
doing?
one, and you get one, and you get one.
Yeah. The
Okay,
Jalen
show of
Brown.
hands. Who didn't get one yet? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The Jalen Brown one comes at an interesting time for sure. I think
It's
there's a
like
little bit more of that.
it's like.
I
Jalen
mean, let's
didn't get
be
one yet?
real. We know what this is, and honestly,
I am not
don't
mad
think,
at them.
I don't think anybody objects. It's just so blatant,
I love it. I love it.
It was kind of funny. I mean, he came out in his mask to accept the award. I don't even know if he said a single word to Wick. Like he just took it and thanked the crowd. Wick kind of backed off. That was just kind of a weird.
It was a warm moment.
Well,
Yeah.
if Malcolm will get it next year, though. Malcolm will get it next year.
Yeah, I just think it's like Jaylen Brown just like, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to be here in the long run. And by the way, the city sucks. But Celtics like, all right, here's your award.
Only 2 Celtics have won the award more than once. 2 Celtics. Who do you think it is?
Paul Pierce.
Oh, yes, that's one. The other one should be easy, Jimmy, since you got Paul Pierce right off the
KG.
bat. Yes, there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Well done, Jim.
2 real
Well
Celtics
done.
right there.
Well
Talk
done,
about
Jimmer.
That's my era, Sherrod. That's my
Well
era.
done.
These young bucks,
done.
they don't know.
Do we let Bobby in?
Oh, yes.
Hey.
So
for
I
Raptors
totally agree, Sherrod. I think Toronto would be the worst first round matchup.
Yeah, I'm a
Hey.
little scared of them too.
It was another grind tonight. 3 games against Toronto. 3-0, of course, all decided by fewer than 6 points. John, a year ago, everyone's terrified of Brooklyn. Celtics sweep them, but you still got to go, every game was decided by fewer than 7 points or average of 7 points. Can't be the same deal with Toronto.
Why is that? Why can it not be the same deal with Toronto? Just curious.
It can be. That's what I'm saying.
But you just said it can't. How the hell, Bobby? How the hell does
I'm
that
saying
work?
for
You
John.
just said it can't.
For John and a lot of these fans, it can't. It can't be the same. I mean, everyone was sounding the alarm on the Nets last year. Now, this loss probably knocks the Raptors out of that picture. But I didn't want to see Toronto round 1. I think tonight was another example of why they could probably push that series a little longer than you would hope a first-round series would be.
Bobby, listen, Toronto was a major disappointment tonight on so many levels. How can you go into a game fighting for your playoff life on a road against a team that is down not 1, not 2, but 3 starters? 3 starters. And you not only do you play them close and you're at full strength. How do you lose a game like that, Bobby? Are the Celtics that good? I don't think so. I don't think it's that good. Toronto should have won this game, and they know it.
I think the biggest thing's Van Fleet. I don't know what's been up with him all year.
He's gonna suck this year. That's what's up.
The shooting's been brutal. A couple balls off the backboard today. I mean, I was texting in the chat. It looks like that team just tosses the ball at the rim and goes try to grab it again. They were brutal offensively tonight, but they still played you within 2 in the final minute. Within 2.
Bobby, they should have been up by 22.
Bobby, you know what I like best about tonight? I like that your hair is parted on the correct side.
John, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because
Me
the
too.
guy, whatever you guys did with your mirror view last night was so
I don't know
bizarre.
who did that either, but it was bothering you because you
I don't know who
texted
did that.
Amit, and then Amit messaged us, and I was like, Amit, I don't effing care if we're in mirror view.
Bobby's
Trying to
Horford
do the damn
jersey was
show.
reversed and like in Russian, you know. You know, the whole thing was so funny.
Well, either way, you're probably not seeing this team round 1 now. So we can
Which
put
team?
this argument to bed. Toronto. I think it's going to be
Let's go Atlanta. Let's go.
Atlanta or Miami. And I know some of you guys are scared of Miami, so make your case for them because I don't believe in them at all.
I'm not afraid of Miami. I just think that Miami is going to make you work, and I don't want.
That's
to
what I
work
think
in the
about
first round.
Toronto.
I don't
they're
think Toronto's going
not.
to make you work.
But
I don't think.
that's the thing. I don't see that, Bobby.
You don't think the Celtics had to work tonight?
I think the Celtics played this one with
They
the
had
energy
3
of
starters benched.
of an exhibition game with 3 starters out and still won. And almost like 76ers it down the
Muscala worked.
stretch.
I thought
Like they didn't. Yeah,
Hauser worked.
Muscala and Hauser and the guys who don't get to play as much worked with their starting
They were
minutes.
working.
Rob was active. Jaylen Brown, 50% effort tonight because that's all he needed to do.
This is how good Jalen is. This was like an average game for Jalen.
Yeah.
He didn't play bad. He didn't play great. This was average. 25 points is kind of what he does on a night-in, night-out basis. When you're down 3 starters and the next best player on your team has an average night and they still find a way to beat you and you're at full strength, no, you're not.
Plus, there's also the downside to Miami too is the one, you know, we're not going to say full on weakness, but the one area where you're a little bit concerned heading into the playoffs is coaching. And there's really only one coach in the entire playoff picture who you're who actually can flat out just out coach people, and that's Spoelstra. I think everybody else is, you're not worried about Doc, you're not worried about Bud. And again,
Not worried
Miami's
about Nurse?
He's gonna lose his job, Bobby, after he gets swept by whatever team they play in the first round.
He's already setting himself up for like you can't fire me, I quit.
He's already said it.
couldn't
Like
believe
everything
those
comes to an
Exactly.
end. He's literally given his farewell press
I
conferences
love it.
already.
I love it. I love it.
It's a pro
So
move.
no, but Miami's definitely a bigger worry because they're annoying. You got the Butler factor. They always
Yeah.
play you tough. They make you work, and they got a great coach. So we're going to get into matchups in a little bit. We're going to circle back just for a second to our Jaylen Brown situation. Brown, as you know, won the Arbeck Award before the season. I mean, before he was awarded the award before the game. Here's Jaylen Brown talking about it after the game.
Extremely grateful. I think Red Arbeck had a vision for this organization, and so many years later to see that vision still being maintained, I think is amazing, and I'm grateful to be a part of it, especially when you are highlighting things that necessarily don't have to do with stats or analytics. Leadership, on and off the floor, being able to receive an award for something that doesn't necessarily you see some type of value for, that doesn't always come up in the stat sheet. I appreciate stuff like that. I put my everything into this team. I put my everything into this city and organization since I've been here. To see or to get that award, I thought meant a lot. I was grateful.
Hey, good answer. Wow, I'm actually stunned. Legitimate, good
Great
answer.
So that's Jaylen
was
talking about the award, which again we joked about it. Celtics pulling out all the stops here on the "We Love You, Jaylen."
I love the commenter that said they're going to rename it the Jaylen Brown Award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
True.
No, I mean
Jaylen looked into the trophy and he's like, "Is there $300 million in here?"
Yeah.
And
It
when
says
it's
that
24
it
young
says
fella.
on the trophy that I'm a guard when I should say I'm a forward.
soon. When will then be now? Soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna happen.
I guess I'm
I've
a
changed
forward,
my. I don't know if that forward guard thing's going to get funky. I've changed my thinking. I think Jaylen Brown's going to be second team All NBA this year.
He could be easily. That forward spot's so weak.
I think the late push and the Celtics finishing with the second best record is going to help. The way he closed all those 30-point games, especially when Tatum was struggling a little bit, and then a lot of the attention. And again, I talked about this too. My thinking changed a little bit on the Jaylen Brown national media tour because he continued it, okay? And then he does that puffy interview with Shams. And that, to me, was what he wanted the first two to be. That's my take. I'm just here to talk. I want me out there. I want people to know me more because I may get buried a little bit behind Tatum and the MVP stuff and this and that. I'm a second fiddle. I gotta do me a little bit.
No shoe.
But I think some stuff came out in the first couple of interviews, which was more interesting to a lot of people. And the city of Boston and the Celtics organization definitely took some, so they were collateral damage. And what I believe was interviews that probably were designed to give Jaylen more profile, to get him that All NBA, and to make sure that he gets paid when it's time to get paid. And that's what I now think. It doesn't mean that he didn't mean some of the stuff he said. It's just the attention, everything focused on that instead of what I think his intention was, which was, don't forget about me, guys.
Right. I'm over here. I'm over here.
But the thing about Jaylen that for me was most impressive was that all these different conversations about his future swirling around, the one constant that never wavered was his impact on the game. He never allowed all that outside noise to affect what we see on the floor. And
Right.
that, to me, that says so much more about him that, makes you understand why the Celtics are kind of freaking out about the idea of him leaving, because he's literally everything that you're going to ever want in a guy who, in the hierarchy of your roster, is the number 2 guy. You're not going to find a better number 2 out there.
Well, don't
He
call him a
also
number
said
2,
tonight-
Sherrod. That's not what he doesn't want. He doesn't want that.
He sacrificed.
He also said tonight you can't take being on a 50-win team for granted. Not always the case. And he's had other comments in the past this year about oh, it's not bad to sacrifice. It's a great team. Play your role on a team like this. So you see those two things mixed in, John. I still think he feels the way he did on the negative front. All the comments he made
he
in those
means
past
a lot of,
interviews.
he means all of it. He didn't, you can't unsay it.
Yes,
but
Bobby.
I do believe that, Bobby. That's what I think is I think
Yeah.
that
But
wasn't
all
why
those
he
things
did the
are true.
interviews. I think he believes a lot of that stuff.
They're all
but
true. Yeah. And the biggest factor, as you said, John, is probably that $300 million looming. We all would have agreed you probably have to move on from him if he declines that. But I think all of us also found it inconceivable he would pass up on that. It would almost be a
I don't
first
think it happens. Yeah.
for him
no.
to move on from that. And the CBA makes it a little more interesting. He got a couple questions tonight about the new CBA. Didn't
The
address it in
Jaylen
terms
Brown
of his
rule. It's
future.
basically called the Jaylen Brown rule.
Yeah, because it allows him, if
Would it
traded,
be called the
to
Jaylen
make
Brown rule
closer
if
to-
he didn't make noise in those interviews? Because it became part of the conversation about the Celtics losing him if he doesn't get supermaxed. He's not the first person in history who's run into this situation.
No, John, I looked at it the opposite way because I think when it comes to signing with the Celtics, he'll still wait for the supermax. I don't think that's 40%
Of course not.
raise.
He gains
entices
nothing.
him.
It's much better to roll the dice
Mhm.
on making supermax rather than sign it. So it's not going to help him.
But this still allows him more money elsewhere if he was traded this summer than leaving in free agency and going to another team, of course. So it did open the door to that in my mind. I think it made it a little bit more likely he would be traded if he did pass up on an extension this summer and continued to send signals that he didn't want to be here. This latest string of comments that he likes being part of this team, great to win 50 games, great to win this award, definitely shows, all right, we're happy here. We like the chance to make this.
He's doing some
million.
damage control too.
You're-
Yeah,
right
this
now.
is I mean, this is he's doing exactly what you should be doing based upon what has already been out there.
Yeah.
You bring it back to the middle because right now, he's viewed as being like, oh, he's going to leave. Bring it back to the center, back to the middle.
I like it. I'm here to win.
We're good.
He's got a smart agent. He's got a very smart agent who knows what he's doing.
Well, he's his agent represent like damn near half the team. So,
Right. And
which
he knows.
which again, that's another factor that's way at the end of the day. But bottom line is,
And he's gotten guys big money.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, he's doing it the way you should be doing it right now, no question.
Yep.
By the way, Sherrod and I both saw, and I actually just talked to him a few minutes ago, Isaiah Thomas of the Pistons.
That's my
tonight,
guy.
who told a great story on Max's podcast about when he was talking to Danny ahead of that draft, saying that Jalen's a Celtic, you got to go with Jalen, and even talking to Brown about who had some skepticism about landing in Boston, this being a spot for you. And, he was talking about Brown winning that award tonight. And I said, I hope they're able to keep him. A lot of stuff going on around him right now. And he just said, they're going to keep him. So he feels good
No one knows
about
more
Brown
about what the
staying.
inner workings of the Boston Celtics than Isaiah Thomas. So
Yeah.
He feels good about Brown staying. He feels good about that relationship continuing.
Well, there's 300 million reasons why I feel pretty good about it too.
and I think he makes it, and I think it quiets everything.
Of course. And of course, if you do sign that extension, you're ineligible to be traded for a year.
And then he'll be traded in a year.
It buys you time. It's good for everybody to sign.
But
that
again,
deal.
yeah, that's my thinking evolved. He was just trying to put himself out there. He said some things along the way. Conversation went in a direction he didn't necessarily intend, brought it back, and I think a lot of what you've heard both in that Shams interview and recently is like the messaging he wants out there, and I think again it's carefully cultivated, curated, and just make sure that like we're on point. But I think he's done enough. I think the team's finally realized like, oh yeah, we should probably be pumping his tires a little bit more. And maybe they needed that little slap upside the head to kind of get it. Like, where's the love, guys? And so now they're naming buildings after him. And that's
Can't
fun.
wait to see the statue.
Yeah.
Can't wait to
The
see
Bobby
the
Orr
statue.
statue gone. Okay. It's Jalen with a mask,
Yeah.
gone.
Masked man.
Faneuil
no other
Hall,
choice for this award.
Jalen on draft night. Boom, right there. Instead of
That'll be Brown Hall to you. Thank you.
That's right.
Brown Hall.
Brown
No, that
Hall.
answer was great, John. You could see Brown in the past just brushing off that.
I don't think that'd be
distinction.
cool.
I
He
think
wouldn't
we
do that.
No.
Too much respect.
I mean,
Too much
maybe
respect.
not talk about it as glowingly as he did here. I think that would have been possible in a different time, but I think he really made a concerted effort to talk it up and talk about, if not that, being part of this team and how good
Yeah.
that is for him.
What's so funny is everyone thinks I'm like being nice to Jalen now, and I was being mean to him before. I'm literally saying the same thing both times. Like his comments were definitely concerning from a Celtics standpoint because it raised uncertainty about whether
What'd you
he
think of
wants
his
to
game
be here.
tonight?
Average.
But you know, he was fine. He didn't play great tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this was what he did. I mean, and again, that's no knock against him. It's just that he's at that level where
I don't think he
25 points
cared.
from Jaylen Brown is like a pretty average night for Jaylen Brown.
Would it be stunning if they told him like, let's go about 70% tonight? Like,
No, I don't know about
I think
that.
they just want to get home at this point, you know? Like just get it, just get to the playoffs. You know, I don't think this was not a max effort game.
No.
He went hard in transition.
He's so
especially on that
freaking
stretch
fast in
the second
transition.
quarter.
It's just a blur.
Yeah, and those were key against
Yeah.
his team. They had some trouble scoring against Toronto in the half court in that first half, and then he broke it open with the transition runs. That pass to Muscala at the end of the game was
jacked
great.
a lot early in the clock threes. That's usually the sign that you're like whatever. But you're right. He did take it to the basket too.
Yeah, and I think he started 10 of 18 from 2. It was a 1 of 9 from 3 that killed him. I just like the little increase, and it doesn't show in the assists, doesn't show consistently, but you do see the mild improvement in his court awareness. Against a team like this especially, it really shows. He got blocked 5 times going into traffic, and he's talked, too, about this being a tough matchup for him. So I worried that this one was going to go off the rails for him a little bit when he started getting blocked as much as he did, and he still
Let's
had a pretty
transition
good game.
off of Jalen. I'll ask everybody once because we're going to talk about this a ton down the stretch here. But obviously, who would be the Celtics' toughest first-round opponent? Bobby last. Jimmy, where are you at right now?
I've said Heat all
Bobby,
along.
paint the picture for us, okay? It looks like very likely the Heat are playing in that 7-8, so it could be Atlanta.
Yes, the Heat now have a magic number of 1
To
to
clinch
clinch
7.
7. The Hawks have a magic number of 1
Toronto
to clinch
could
8.
sneak past Atlanta into that 8. Bulls are kind of locked into 10 there. So again, you never know what kind of shenanigans you're going to get, but it could be Miami.
Bulls are officially locked
Bulls,
into 10.
it cannot be the Bulls, so it's Miami, Atlanta, or Toronto. Go.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
It's Miami. I won't accept any other answers. I'll accept Atlanta, I guess, but I think Miami's definitely. You mentioned earlier, John, and I've said it earlier on different shows. The Jimmy Butler factor for me. He turns into a different beast in the playoffs. He's a Celtics killer. They just barely got past him last year in a series that everyone thought they were going to roll over them. He's like a man amongst boys out there. So that's my number one reason. Second reason is the coaching advantage. And I think it's even more significant this year. You've got arguably the best coach in the NBA against a coach who this is his first year. And, depending on who you talk to will determine, how good of a coach you think he is. But certainly there's been ups and downs. And I think, John, I know you don't really give a shit about coaches generally speaking, but in a playoff series,
I brought up Spo earlier.
I know, but in a playoff series, it matters a little bit more because it becomes a little bit of a chess match. You got to make your game plan changes from game 1 to game 2, and so on and so forth. So I think those are the two biggest factors for me. Toss in Bam, who has the ability to go off and has been Rob's daddy. I hate to say it over the last couple seasons. So those are my big reasons for picking Miami, and I just think that. That's not the matchup that you want. All that being said, I'm still obviously going to take the Celtics in that matchup.
Sherrod.
Oh God, I hate to do this, but I have to agree with Jimmy in Miami. It's just too kind of such a no-brainer when you look at their roster. You look at the mental toughness. You look at the coaching matchup that we talked about. But and Jimmy, you kind of threw him in there at the very tail end there. But Bam is the guy I worry about because when he's playing well, they're really, really good. And he has been. You talk about how special Rob is, but Bam is the one guy that does a pretty damn good job of making Rob look not so special. And he's been able to do that consistently. And so to me, that's partly why Miami makes me nervous because they're, again, Spo, the Bam factor, and they've got guys who have been at their best against the Celtics. And in the playoff series, Boston, I think, will win in 6. But they're going to have to work way harder than they would want to win that series. Like, they can't – the effort that we saw against Toronto tonight, you can't do that against Miami. Otherwise, your ass is done in 5, maybe 6 games. So
Right. That's a great point.
The answer's Miami,
Oh.
obviously. I don't mind seeing them, though. And I think it's actually good for the Celtics.
I thought he was going to say Toronto.
Me
Not
too.
gonna lie.
I was ready for it.
I just don't think the Raptors can work back into that spot. They play the Celtics Friday and then the Bucks on Sunday, so it's possible.
That's not the question.
And I still think
The
they
question is,
Oh,
of
yeah.
those 3, if you end up with one of them, who's the toughest?
I think Toronto's the toughest for the Celtics.
Well done, Jimmy. Well done.
Why can't I say this after 3 games decided by fewer than 6 points? Looking at the Celtics and Heat this year, that's obviously been a very competitive matchup too. There's just something, and again, John, we talked about it going into these finals last year. There's just something I don't get about the Heat. And this year, most of all, them hovering around 7, them being unable to catch a Brooklyn team that was capsizing all year since the trades. And they're, 26th in offense or something like that? I mean, looking right now, the Heat offense ranks 25th. The only teams that have worse offenses than the Heat are the Magic, Rockets, Pistons, Spurs, and Hornets. And the Celtics have arguably the best offense in the NBA. So I just don't see how they're going to be able to keep up point-wise. Butler has his big games, but he has his clunkers too. They're a great defense. They keep teams within a point per 100. I get why people get a little worried because this is not a normal 2-7 series. This was the East Finals last year. But it's also a different team. You're seeing Kevin Love. You're seeing Caleb Martin. You're seeing Cody Zeller sometimes off their bench. And the guards haven't played as well this year, especially Kyle Lowry, who I don't even know how he's going to get into these games. I get it. Bam, the zone, that awful loss down there in January where Tatum
I think
throws
you're
the ball
convincing
right at
yourself
Aaron
right in
Gordon.
front of our eyes.
No, I just get the argument, but I don't get being fearful of them. I'd have the Celtics in 5.
Okay. That's the hard series? Or no, that's over Miami. Yeah, so I
Series,
mean,
yeah.
I don't know if the answer is net Miami or Atlanta. I assume
It's hard to worry about Atlanta. They're so
I know, but here's the
mediocre.
thing is it's hard to worry about
Thank
all of
you.
them because they're going to beat all of them. So again, you're talking about who's going to give you most problems. I think the answer is clearly Miami. I think the only obvious answer is that Toronto's clearly the 3rd team of those 3, like by like a massive gulf.
Something's wrong there. There's no doubt.
So I mean,
There's
Atlanta,
doubt.
Again, I don't think Atlanta's beating you. I don't think any of them are. I mean, if any of them take a game off you, you'd be like, but it'll be Miami. I could see that being a really annoying 6-game series, and like, geez, like just annoying. Everything about Miami is annoying.
The last thing you want is to play 6-7 games round
And they
1.
might. I think they'll have an easier time with Miami. They'll go to 7 with Miami and beat the Sixers in 5.
So the Hawks. So are the Hawks a joke then? Are we all in agreement? I guess the Hawks are a joke.
I mean, I just don't think Toronto has the talent. Like, sure, they have length. They
have the talent. I just don't know what's
they're
going
not that
on there this year. There's something behind the scenes that's wrong. Clearly. I mean, everyone was
I think
trade
it's
rumors all
actually in
year.
front of this. I don't
year.
think it's behind the scenes. I think it's right in front of all of our eyes.
On the court.
Yeah, the playing is bad.
It's in front of the scenes.
Listen, they have Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam. I thought Precious Achiuwa looked great tonight. They have guys off their bench who do damage. OG's a great defender, although Brown crossed him up big time at one point. I think Brogdon did too. They put the zone out there tonight and it did nothing. I don't know. This team, maybe it's just one of those groups that's had its day. The coach turned sour and their muck-it-up style isn't fooling teams anymore, especially a team as talented as the Celtics. And you look at the difference
93
on this
points tonight, Bobby. They're just gross.
The offense is a mess.
They're gross.
There's no doubt about it. But they held the Celtics down too. And they have in every game.
They didn't hold
Some really hard-fought games up in Toronto.
Nobody held the Celtics. The Celtics just jogged up and down the court a little.
Yeah.
And
it was also second night of a back-to-back.
3 starters on
who
the
did
second
play.
night of a back-to-back. Like, it's just, I mean, again, if this was Toronto's best effort, who's still playing for stuff, this is sad. You know, I mean, this is like it's just sad.
Well, it's all about the Celtics, right? In any of these matchups, if the Heat are able to, we know the Heat can't score with the Celtics. If they're able to hold the Celtics down and muck up the series and shut down Boston's offense, that says more about Celtics issues going deeper into the playoffs than it does
Sure.
the Heat, right? These teams go up against them. So that's what's lurking here is just the concern around the Celtics offense and how inconsistent it's been in the second half of the season. I hated that loss last night, John. I know you weren't here. I was taking your seat.
Yeah,
Just
people have been calling you
in terms of
Bobby Zannis the
frustration.
whole show.
I mean, I just don't get, John, how you lose the 1 seed, which you had a 5.5 point lead on at one point, and you just go, doesn't matter. Who cares? It matters. I don't know how much, but it matters.
It's annoying that they're acting like it doesn't matter, but what I think they're trying to say is we still think we're really it's again an inelegant way of expressing confidence over the guys they have in the room, but what it comes off as is indifference, and I don't think that's what they mean. And so it can irk you because we listened to that post game and we're like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Yeah, it does.
The Washington one.
That was
yeah.
annoying to hear, but I really do believe, again, it's just
Well, look at your path now, John. Miami, Philly, Milwaukee. It's not easy. It wasn't easy last year either, but they were rolling going into the playoffs last year, and they're playing pretty good right now. Like, I agree with you. It's hard to knock the numbers Joe keeps throwing out there. Number one in offense, number one in defense over this recent stretch of games, but he's also played the Indianas of the world and some teams like that recently that have boosted that a little bit. Killed the Bucks in a hot shooting night. I'm not gonna understate that victory. That was super impressive.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're still talking what now? 34-20 since that hot start. Top 10 in offense or so. I was looking at the numbers again today. Swaying drastically. Was tonight one of those 3-point nights, John, in terms of shooting over the league average and winning? So yeah, they're able to win a few more of these games recently.
Because they were playing
Utah
Toronto.
shooting under that.
They had
Toronto, who shot
Toronto shot
18.2% from
Jeez
three.
Louise. Celtics shot 29. Anyway, we're going to talk a lot more because, again, tomorrow's game, Friday's game doesn't mean a ton, but you might have a clearer picture of who that first round opponent was be. So we'll be back.
Miami plays Philly tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll have a cleaner picture. We'll talk about that game. We'll start doing some playoff picture stuff, playoff preview stuff heading in. So we're back Friday night. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Check us out over on Discord if you want. Sign up at fanduel.com/Boston. You want to kind of get in on any action. Playoff odds. Celtics are creeping, but I still think it's Milwaukee as a slight favorite. But, I don't know. I still like
toss
the
a
Celtics
futures
here.
bet.
Jump over to Discord if you want to check that out and join in on the chat. We will be back on Friday for Sherrod, Jimmy, and Bobby. Thanks for watching, guys.